Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jordy Clark and I'm a real estate broker and investor here in Utah. And in today's short video, we're gonna show you how to build a house from start to finish. It's very hard to condense 9 to 12 months worth of a build job into, 20, 30 minutes, however long this video is. I'm gonna do my best for you to be as informative as possible. This is not meant for any sort of legal advice or construction advice. This is just my viewpoint from building. I've represented a builder on over 200 houses now. So really from start to finish, I just want to educate you in a short amount of time. So as you go and look at building a home for yourself or an investment property, or if you just want more construction knowledge, I want this to be as informative and easy to understand as possible. Okay, so there's a lot that goes into building a home, and most of the time we just look at it and think how pretty it is. There's a lot underneath the carpet and the flooring, behind the walls. So let's actually start from the ground and go from there just to build your knowledge. So let's head outside and take a look at the dirt. Okay, so here we are outside. This is raw, undeveloped land. So typically what has to happen, and it can take up to a year, 2 years to develop a piece of land. You'll take something that's raw like this, just a bunch of dirt, trees, rocks, etc. And a developer will come in and they'll put the underground utilities in. They'll put in sewer, water, power, gas, and then they'll put in a road, like we see over here behind me. A road, sidewalk, curb and gutter. So once that's all happened, they typically have a final plat, which kind of marks out all of the lots. And once that is all done, we're ready to build. So it's a very quick timeline on developing, but there is something that has to happen for just raw generic land to be turned into a subdivision or even just a building lot. The biggest thing is putting utilities in so that it can become a house. Okay, so here we are. This has been excavated. And typically when we excavate for a new home, you actually have to over excavate a little bit bigger than where the foundation is gonna go for a couple of reasons, but mainly so you have space to work around, right? Right here, this is going to be the garage, believe it or not, at least underneath the garage. Here in Utah, we do basements. We do not, however, excavate underneath the garages. That just stays solid and really helps out with costs. So next thing to happen here, once it's excavated, is they'll put footings in. Footings are the first portion of the foundation. They typically go in and the foundation rests on top of that to make sure that the house is stable and will not have any structural issues. Okay, so once the footings and foundation are in, then we'll take the utilities and they typically get sub-roughed in, which just means before all of the concrete gets laid down, all of the plumbing gets put in. We'll go take a look at that in a second, but right here, I just wanted you to see there are utilities on this lot, power, water, and then the sewer will connect right in. And the gas will be connected as well. So let's go take a look at what it looks like once the footings and foundation are in and all of the dirt has been pushed back around the foundation walls. Okay, so here we are in the basement, or what will be the basement. I'm standing on one of the footings. So you can see it's kind of just a base to put the foundation wall on. This right here is the foundation wall. And you can see that all of our plumbing is already in. So at this point, we're basically connected to the utilities in the street. You can see right over here, water line is coming in. And then all of the black pipes, that's our outgoing plumbing to the street. So I'm gonna hop out of this foundation and we're gonna look at what backfilling is, because backfilling is very important to make sure you don't have any settling. So here we are, we're up on the foundation. You can see that this was over excavated by about 3 or 4 feet and has been backfilled. So they come in and compress the dirt so that once water hits it after a homeowner has moved in, it typically doesn't sink, kind of like you see it sinking here because of the recent water we've had. So backfilling is very important. They just basically put all the dirt back in around the foundation walls so that you can have a normal yard. All right, so now I'm standing where the garage should be. Pretty cool here. Just rock really goes down and prepped for concrete. Once concrete comes in, we're gonna have stairs. This will all be framed. So framing is the big next thing to happen. Let's go take a look at a house that's been framed. Okay, so here we are. We're in a house that has been framed. And you can see we use wood framing here in Utah. Basically what they do, they put up all the walls, they put up the exterior walls, the interior walls, put on the roof. We'll go take a look at the roof right now. Okay, cool. So we have set the trusses on top of the walls, and there's typically load-bearing and non-load-bearing walls. So you'll need to check with a structural engineer when you're doing anything with walls to make sure they're not load-bearing. So right here, the roof has been sheeted and the roofing material will actually go on top of this plywood. And you'll typically see the shingles, but you don't see the plywood underneath. Four-way is typically right before drywall happens. Four major things have to happen. You have framing, electrical, HVAC, and plumbing. So we can see right here that the framing has been completed. Electrical has been completed. The plumbing has been completed. And then the HVAC. So if we look above us here, these are the HVAC ducts. They're typically what supply your hot and cold air, at least here in Utah most of the time. You have HVAC ducts. So all of this has to happen, and a city inspector has to come by and pass everything off, typically multiple times during the process, but especially that four-way inspection is big. A lot of the times they have to come back twice just to verify that things were fixed that should have been fixed. So after that, you can see behind me, insulation goes on. We'll come take a look at that. And then just to know really well what happens after that. So we've got our framing here, and you can see the insulations behind it, and there's a vapor barrier right here. After this stage, drywall will come up. Everyone's pretty familiar with drywall. Drywall comes up, the drywallers usually hang it, and then they tape all of the joints, meaning they put just a compound with some, it looks like tape, just very thick tape over all those joints so that you don't see everything. And then they'll come in with a light texture. And then once they've textured it, they typically come in and sand it and then paint it. So let's go take a look at a house that's been drywalled, sanded, painted, and we'll go from there. Okay, cool. So once a house has been drywalled and it's been taped and textured and sanded, everyone's favorite thing, paint, comes on. So typically what they do is they spray it with a primer, and the primer soaks into the drywall and really gives it a good base. And then the actual paint will go on. So right now, white is really popular, and that's what you see here. Really, you can paint your walls any color you want. It's pretty easy. Most people can figure that out themselves. Once paint goes on, we typically have baseboards come in. So baseboards, depending on the surface below it, baseboards will come in, and then your flooring will come in after that. So carpet typically gets tucked under the baseboards. On hard surfaces like this luxury vinyl plank flooring, that will actually go down before the baseboard comes on. And what that does is it allows the subcontractors a little bit of space, because every house is home built, no house is perfect. It gives them a little bit of space where this is more of a floating floor, to be able to have, you know, some imprecise cuts and whatnot, but the baseboard will come on and really give it a nice finish. Once baseboard is on, typically doors would have already been installed. So we'll go over and take a look at one of the doors. So typically a door will come pre-hung. So this door jamb right here will come with the door hung on it, and then you put the trim around it. So it finishes off really nicely. Really, this is really easy. It looks pretty complicated, but it's very easy. Okay, so typically when you have all of that going on the inside of the house, there's a lot to do on the exterior of the house too. So if you look behind me, this house is getting ready for stucco. The windows are in, the house has been drywalled. So a lot going on the inside like we've already covered. On the exterior, the stucco, first thing that happens is they put a vapor barrier, this paper on it. And then the second thing is chicken wire goes on. And then the third thing is once the chicken wire's on and all of the holes have been sealed properly, there will be a base coat. It's called a brown coat. It's got like a concrete mixture in there. They apply that and let it cure for a couple of days, and then you put the finish coat on. So yeah, let's go take a look at what this is gonna look like. I'm gonna snap my fingers. There we go. So you can see that the hardy board is on. We've got our soffit and fascia gutters on. We also did the finish electrical on the outside. Obviously the garage door has been installed. So there's a lot that goes into it, really, from that point to get it to here. I know this is a totally oversimplified version, but at the end of the day, I just wanted to give you guys as informative of a video on how a house is built from A to Z without taking tons of your time. So overall, that's the exterior. Okay guys, so here we are in a kitchen, and I just wanted to break this down real quick. This is mid-construction. So typically, your cabinets will go in first. You can see these are nice white shaker style cabinets. Typically they will go in, and then once they're in, your countertop company will come in and template, which just basically means they measure where the cabinets are at, where the countertop will overhang to. You can see right here in this nice island, it does overhang so that you can fit bar stools underneath. So the countertop company will come in and template it, which again means they measure it and figure out how big the slabs of quartz or granite or formica is going to need to be. And then once they template, they'll come in, bring in the slabs. Once the slabs are in, typically the backsplash can go up if backsplash is being installed. I really dig this backsplash right here. After that, appliances will typically come in. So right here, you can actually see we're gonna do a double oven. It's gonna be sweet. Double ovens are awesome. Sometimes there's just the regular range that kind of goes in right there. We're gonna have a gas cooktop right here and a micro hood above the gas cooktop. And then we're gonna have a dishwasher that goes right here in the island. So typically once countertops are in, the plumber can come in and put the plumbing finishes in. That's super important because these are the details that everyone notices, right? Up until pretty much this point, a lot of people have no idea how the house gets to here. They just look at the finishes, and the finishes are what sells houses. So most important when you're building a house, when you're flipping a house, when you're buying rental properties, when you're progressing towards financial freedom, is knowing each individual part of construction. Now, and I don't mean you have to know exactly how to do everything, but it's good to have a general knowledge of what goes into building so that you don't get taken advantage of by contractors, and so that you're more informed and aware of what's going on. Okay, so here we are. We are in a bathroom that has been fully finished. So you'll notice the cabinets have been done, hardware's on them. Countertops came in after that. The sinks are undermount sinks, so they came in after the cabinet or the countertops. The finished plumbing is in. And then obviously the mirror and all the light fixtures, that's all just the finished work that we see that came in and really makes a house a home. So here we see the shower and the tub. There's a couple different ways you can finish, but overall the flow is about the same. This happens to be cultured marble. So the cultured marble comes in, goes on top of the drywall after it's been painted and after the bathtub and the shower pan have been installed. And then lastly, on this nice big shower, the glass came in as kind of the final piece to put this all together. All right, everyone, so here we are, we're in a finished kitchen. Appliances are in, the finished electric is in, and we even have it staged so it looks just phenomenal. Overall, guys, these kitchens come together really nicely once everything is in. Kitchens look great, and this is what we imagine having family over, having meals together, having friends over. Once everything is in, and this is when it can become truly a home. All right, everyone, so that pretty much wraps up how a home is built from A to Z. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of more videos like this. And most importantly, please comment below if you have any questions, if you want to see any other content. We'd love to see your feedback. So thanks, make it a great day.